Bonsoir. Welcome. Welcome to this special celebration to mark the beginning of the academic year at Massey College. Woo-hoo! My name is Nathalie Desrosiers, and I'm the principal of Massey College. And I first want to acknowledge that Massey College operates on land inhabited by Indigenous people for centuries, the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. On behalf of everyone here, I want to acknowledge their stewardship of the land and our gratitude for the ability that we all have to be here together today. So today is a celebration of our coming together to celebrate the beginning of the academic year, to welcome the new junior fellows and new members of the community, new journalism fellows that we have. And you should know that we will continue to have these celebratory events throughout the year, adapted, as you can see, to the reality of COVID. The program for tonight includes a few greetings from different members of the community, a presentation of new members, as well as a virtual tour of Massey College for the people who cannot be here today but are curious about Massey College. Let me first say that Massey College has a very special relationship with the Mississaugas of the Credit. They have an office here, and Chief LeForm is an honorary senior fellow. I want to thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for the commitment that they have to the Junior Fellowship and the new scholarship of $15,000 in honor of Dr. King, which celebrates and wants to support relationships and research in and with Indigenous communities, Miigwech. We continue to work with the Mississaugas to ensure that Massey College engage fully with its responsibility. And I have to say, we are very hard at work to plan our second celebratory dinner, which will be in a week full of event and education program at the end of September, which will be on the theme of Indigenous issues. So I'm very delighted to invite Chief LeForm, a poet, an elected leader, and an honorary senior fellow to address you. Chief LeForm.
Kani, bonjour. Naga, Bekinini, Stage LeForm, Disnakas, Credit Dunjaba, Mainga Dorum, Mississauga, Anishinaabe Dao. Just told you who I am, where I'm from, what my clan is. You know, I feel like I should be standing up because you're all standing up, but I'm not sure if I remember to put pants on this morning. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I did it. Don't worry. So it's just that I've had so many Zoom meetings that, you know, my attire isn't always the best. So I'd like to acknowledge the Creator, the world around us, our place within it. I'd like to acknowledge and offer my respect to the many nations that walk this land in the past, the many that walk it today, and welcome you to the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe. I would like to offer you a prayer as you begin this journey. We acknowledge the Creator, the world around us, and our place within it. We thank you for the gifts we have been given, the gifts of this world, the insects, the animals, the plants, the people. We are thankful for the breath of life, the gift of spirit and energy. We ask that you shelter us and guide us in these difficult and challenging times. We ask that you protect our elders, our knowledge keepers, for they are keepers of our wisdom, our language, and our past. We ask that you protect and guide our youth, for they seek direction. They were born to run, and it is a time of stillness. They are hope for our future. We ask that you protect the women of this world, for they are the bringers of life and the foundation upon which we build. We ask that you guide and protect our warriors, for they seek direction. They serve the will of the people and struggle without that voice, that guidance. We ask that you come and comfort our leaders. We need their logic and their compassion, yet they overcome with the pain and hurt of the people. We ask that you shelter and guide the other people of these lands, for they are our brothers and sisters. though at times they fail to see us. Without them, we cannot achieve the purpose for what we are set upon this world. We understand that we must stand together, that we must face this dark time in unity. We understand that there is a lesson here for all people, and we pray that they understand. We acknowledge the Creator, the world around us, and our place within it. I am honored to be here, to be considered a part of Massey College. This is a great institution, you know, but it's more than an institution. It's a place that strives to teach consciousness, a place that strives to grow beyond limitations and boundaries, a place to be all that you can be, and through that help others be all they can be. Yet it is not without its flaws, and it is not without its faults. But together, we shall work and make things better for all of us and for everyone. I want to be more a part of Massey, more available, you know, to everyone, if you have need of me. I'm not saying that I'm an expert or anything like that, but if you have a need, I will certainly answer. And with that in mind, I want to make and I will through proper channels, make my contact information readily available to faculty and to all the students. Now, as you know, I was introduced as sort of a poet, I guess, and I was thinking about a poem that I could read, and sort of empowerment poem. And the other day, you know, there's an issue in Toronto where they saved the 150-year oak, which is, you know, great work that they did that. And I was asked, you know, we're going to do a book about this. Would you write a poem for it? I thought about it, never really sat down to do it. At a law school welcoming students, I sat down to write that poem. Now, what I wrote isn't the poem that I'm sure they wanted to hear, but it's the story that wanted to be told. And that's the story that I'm telling. I told them, and I want to share it with you. Wow, here goes. So it's simply called Stand, and it's about a tree. You call me beautiful, amazing. You argue to preserve my life. You will fight so that I may remain. Yet you only notice me because I've been called to your attention. Were I among my own in a field, would you even see me? They are killed in the hundreds, the thousands. Who defends them? Do you? They have just as much right to existence as I. The place I live does not make me special. The years that have passed do not make me special. The fact that you have noticed me does not make me special. I am special because I am special, because we are all special. I appreciate what you do for me, but it is not right if it is just for me. If you do not see this or understand this, then leave me in peace. Leave me to my fate, for I will not forsake the others for the love of myself or for the love of you. You know, I wrote that poem with the understanding of a tree, and somehow it turned into this ideology about, in my mind, you can make of it what you will, but in my mind, it's not enough to just concede one at a time. It's not enough to just get further ahead than everybody else. There's a place for everybody. And I think that was part of the story of my tree. You know, I've taken up enough time. As I said, I'm happy to be here. I plan to be more available, more accessible if there's a need. I just want to end by saying, always be safe, always be heard, Miigwech and Bamapi.
Thank you very much, Chief LeForm. We will make sure that the full address is available on the website so that we can benefit from all of the address that was cut short a little bit at the beginning. You can see how special a relationship it is and how important it is to Massey College to continue to preserve this relationship. And I am so happy that the chief has decided to make himself even more available. So it's going to be a great year for all of us. A great friend of Massey College, a great advocate for disability rights, a great mentor to junior fellows, passed away recently. I would like to invite junior fellow Maddie DeWells, who studies at OISE, to pay tribute to Christine Karza, after which we will have a minute of silence. You can take it off when you...
Hello, everyone. Hello, new and returning members of our Massey community. I am here to tell you today a bit about a very, very special member of our community who unfortunately passed away last week, senior fellow Christine Karza. Christine was and is an incredible person. She brought joy and love and enthusiasm to everyone around her. She touched and graced the lives of us all. Christine was a passionate advocate for disability rights, inclusion, and accessibility. She worked tirelessly with Massey College and the Accessibility Committee to enhance access at the college, and this is a legacy that we must continue. I met Christine in February 2018. She was my Massey Meeting of the Minds mentor, and how lucky I was. At the time, I was writing my MA thesis on storybooks about children with Down syndrome, and I remember I showed Christine a book that I was working with, and right in the middle of the restaurant, she held up the book and started reading it, and she was telling me about areas of critique or ideas for writing. And I knew then that I had met someone very special, and someone very special had graced my life. Over the next couple of years, Christine met with the Accessibility Committee at Massey, working with past and current junior fellows such as Alexandra Ntukas, Michael O'Shea, Phyllis Go, Mary Germain, Ariana Ellis, David Gaffney, and so many more. For all of us, Christine brought comfort, peace, and encouragement. Christine always took seriously what was said and never let an idea go unlistened to. Christine brought joy, love, laughter, and life to us all. She found the positive in everything, and no matter what, was always there to listen. We are graced to know Christine. Her legacy will live on forever in our lives, in our hearts, and at Massey College. I invite you now to join us in a moment of silence in recognition of the life, the love, and the work of Christine Karza.
Before she passed away, Christine Karza and I had talked about December 3rd, the International Day for Disability, and creating a special event at Massey. And we will do so this year in her honor. This is the occasion to bring greetings from various members of the community, past and present. And the first person that I want to introduce is Hugh Segal, who was my predecessor, who was principal of Massey College from 2014 to 2019, past senator, author, éminence.
Well, Natalie, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the opening reception for the 2020-21 academic year, and I'm delighted to have the chance to do so. I have many photographs that I treasure from my 5 years of service to Massey, and one of my very favorites is the Disability Committee, and Donna, who was on the committee, and of course Christine, as we cut the ribbon for the opening of the automatic door, main door to the college, something which Christine had fought for and was really part of the many achievements that we contribute to her leadership and her commitment and her ability to work with junior fellows, senior fellows, quadranglers, members of the college staff to make good things happen. So I'm delighted that there'll be a special dedicated event in December to her commitment to the college. Let me just say to the senior fellows who I have not had the privilege to meet, I hope to be around the college this coming year and attending events. I hope to meet as many of you as I possibly can. I'm always convinced about the experience you're about to have. It will likely be one of the most unique and special experiences of your life. Not only going about your graduation and all the work that we do, you will be linked up with a group of junior fellows who are doing their own academic work in totally different disciplines from yours, who will come from different parts of the world, who have different cultural backgrounds, racial backgrounds, religious backgrounds, but that intense diversity is going to be a remarkable resource. First of all, great friends, lots of fun, and secondly, networks that you will be able to build part of your life going forward, whatever you end up doing, whatever walk of life you choose, and wherever your academic takes you. The great thing about Massey is that it's the beautiful mix of ideas like civility and integrity and honest discussion. Not always happy discussion, but honest discussion. And it's also about the way in which we build common strength by addressing differences that have to be reflected in the diversity of the college itself. So I am delighted that you're here, and I'm delighted that you will benefit from the intellectual leadership of our senior fellows, who are amongst perhaps the most unique group of senior fellows in the world because of their area, activity, background, and academic. And the partners, of course, are leaders in many aspects of national and international cultural, business, not-for-profit, public service life. So that's a very rich thing. And beyond all of that, you'll also have access to LeForm, whole other wonderful intellectual resource, and a linkage, of course, to our primary responsibility as Canadians to treat our First Nations with respect and reconciliation, respect for their sovereignty, which very much part of the national team. So I'm envious that you are there. I would not have had the mark to get into graduate school, but the University of like never been a senior fellow at Massey, but I had 5 wonderful years working with those people, and I look forward to seeing as many as possible in the country. So God bless. Have a good day.
Familiar with
Hello everyone. Welcome to the new academic year. My name is John Fraser. I am the former head of college. I ran Massey College. I did the Natalie job for about 20 years. Started in the last century. I'm still around the place. This is going to be a strange year, but it's still Massey College, and all of you are very privileged to be there, and the college is privileged to have you. I'll be around. I've got a study nook down in the non-res area, and I'm quite capable of having socially distanced conversations. The main thing I would like to tell you, apart from welcoming you to Massey College, is to tell you it is a wonderful place, and you are going to have to work on some new traditions in this crazy year to make sure that the originality and fun and joy and satisfaction of being a Massey College member stays alive. All the best. I hope to see you around soon. Bye-bye.
at the same time addressing the changes necessary to provide a safe environment. The Massey community is a magical one in which the exchange of ideas and perspective among a broadly diverse group of fellows, scholars, and supporters allows its member to fulfill the college's motto, Sapere Aude, dare to know. I encourage you all to talk, debate, listen, learn, participate, challenge, consider, reflect, write, empathize, object, broaden, and create. Have a wonderful year at the college. So let me now introduce somebody who is familiar to many, the Dawn of Hall, Junior Fellow and PhD student in physics, Seshu Iyengar.
Welcome everyone. Bienvenue tout le monde. I just want to say, first off, thank you to the staff who are making, an event which I'd say many of us weren't sure if we would get to be part of something like this. And the fact that we're here and we're able to enjoy it safely is thanks to the hard work of our many staff here at Massey. And I do want to extend a welcome to the community and formally introduce myself as Don of Hall. This would normally happen in March, but something got in the way. I think a lot of us found ourselves very busy all of a sudden, and these things happen. I am the 57th Don of Hall at Massey College, or 58th. David Sutton claimed he would start a task force to investigate that, but it never got back to him, I guess. Alluding to the fact that, COVID is this kind of dominating presence in our lives. It's dominating this event, it's dominating this introduction. I think one thing that we should learn from the experience of the past year is that communities like Massey are more important than ever, despite being the exact type of community that might be most affected by these situations. I mean, to put it one way, grad students are already pretty prone to becoming isolated, whether there's a disease flying around the air or not. The other thing is that COVID is truly an interdisciplinary challenge, which lends itself to the type of discussions that the previous speakers have mentioned happen at Massey. Looking to the future, Massey is planning on not just surviving the COVID situation, but rather reimagining itself and moving itself forward. And we can see that in the actions of many of the staff and graduate students here right now. We've seen the implementation of workshops for ethical and diverse leadership. We've seen a push to redefine mentorship and build stronger global networks. And my hope is that Massey will be a place that opens doors to knowledge for everyone, even those outside its walls. In fact, especially those outside its walls. And I believe that the Junior Fellowship is the key to that. But I also believe that there's something else very important to tag on to our talks about debates and discussions. We need to be a place that fosters action. This came up in a very well-done workshop by alumna Chantal Phillips, where she was talking to us about the issue of anti-Black racism. And she pointed out to us that we cannot let these understandings stay in the realm of academic discussion, but rather we must be prepared to face the challenges that come with implementing change in the world. But again, I believe the Junior Fellowship is the key to precisely that. And community is going to be the tool which will address this problem. And as we're seeing here, we have to foster it. We have to preserve it. And one thing I think we all have learned is that we can never take community for granted. So thank you, everyone, for showing up, for helping rebuild and refresh the community as we move into a new year filled with a lot of promise and hope. And thank you to the Junior Fellows who have become some of my best friends that I could have ever dreamed for.
Good. So Seshu is a member of the board, and I am pleased to introduce a few other members of the board. First, Edith Hillen.
Hello everybody. Along with everyone else, I'd really like to welcome you to Massey College. I'm really sorry that we haven't been able to do this in person as is normally done in other years. But I guess it just reflects the time that we live in, and I'm glad that at least we've got some technology which allows some interaction. My name is Edith Hillen. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Nursing at the University of Toronto. I'm also a senior fellow of Massey, and I have the honour of serving on the governing board of the college as well. I feel that I know a little bit about some of you because I actually serve on the Junior Fellow Selection Committee for Massey and have had the pleasure of reading a number of your applications and also learning about the amazing achievements that you have got through already, even before entering your Massey journey. So again, I really would like to wish you every success for this academic year. I am sure that you will both benefit from, but also contribute to the collegiality and fellowship within Massey. I also really want to wish you every success in terms of your academic journey, which is what brought you here in the first place to the University of Toronto. I know the times again are fairly strange and it might not be starting off in quite the way that you imagined. But I think with the support of your peers, you will certainly manage to see your way through it. So thank you again, and I look forward to the day that we can actually meet in person. Bye-bye for now.
Jim? Pengaj Mera?
Namaskar. My name is Pankaj Mehra. I am a senior fellow and a member of the governing board at Massey College. What I just said in Hindi translates into, I bow to thee, or I salute thee. And while not there in person to welcome you, I'm reaching out through this medium that I'm not at all comfortable with to extend a very warm welcome to the incoming Massey community, the junior fellows and the residents, to the start of a new term in September 2020. We are continuing to see some challenging times, but thanks to the efforts of our principal and the wonderful staff here at Massey, you will find that we have created a very secure and a safe environment for all of you. I look forward to meeting with some of you over the next few months to interact with you, learn from your experiences, and participate in some good discussions. Until then, be safe, be secure, and be well. Have a wonderful stay at Massey. Thank you.
Thank you. Julian Posada is on the board as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Julian Posada. I'm a third year junior fellow and PhD student at the Faculty of Information. And I am part of the first cohort of students at the governing board besides the Don of Hall. So thank you, Principal de Rosier, thank you, Don of Hall, Seshu Yengar, thank you, Jonathan Rose, and other members of the board for this initiative. I think is great for the college. At the beginning, no students were allowed into corporation, which is the predecessor of the board. Then the Don of Hall was allowed without voting powers. Then the Don was allowed as the only student. But now we have new students joining the governing board. And I'm glad to serve the college again, previously as Don of Hall, again as a board member. And actually today, doing the tour of the college for a few new junior fellows, I realized one of the reasons why it's so gratifying. I've been back to the college, I've been here for months, and coming back here, greeting so many people, I have to tell the new junior fellows, yeah, you get to know everyone here by name. And I feel like this is the only place in a university where that happens. So that's why I'm so grateful to be a member of the college and to continue serving the institution. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you. And we have David Smith, who's the chair of the Quadrangle Society, and I had here proud alumni of the Rothman School of Management.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for all convening. This is an excellent opening for our wonderful community, and I want to extend my welcome. Seshu said it much better than I could, as did Hugh, so I won't further complicate things by adding to that. But I will say the Quadrangle Society represents a gathering of leaders united in service, supporting the core mission of the college, and I'll touch on what Chief Stacy LeForm also said in terms of Massey is more than an institution. It's more than an organization. It's a place where people can reach their potential, and that's what we're here to do as members of the Quadrangle Society. So thank you, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you.
Thank you. I believe that Jonathan Rose is also among us. Jonathan? Do you want to come?
Hey, it's just great to be here. I don't have anything to add to all the wonderful statements about what this college is about, except as the chair of the Governance and Nominating Committee, I want to remind you that nominations are open for several positions on the governing board. We're looking for many people, or three senior fellows and one junior fellow who's a non-resident junior fellow. So talk to your friends who want to serve the college in that way, and we'd be glad to have you offer your services. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you. I want to say a few words because you know that Massey cannot function without its wonderful staff. So they cannot all be here today, but I'm going to mention a lot of them, and please wave or come forward so that you can be recognized. You know. Greg Serson, the head steward. Elena Ferrenti, Director, Student Life. Catherine Fowler is the new Director of Advancement. Matt Glandfield, who's inside, who is the Technology Director. Amala Marin, Special Advisor to the Principal. Darlene Naranjo, Director of Catering. Abra Rissi, Director of the Digital Production here. Oris Chikechi, who's at the front, who is the porter on duty today. So thank you, Oris. And then the service team, you know them all. Let me just mention them, and you come over because we want to see you. Jenny Mendieta, Coralie Dubois, Jade Nelson, Sean Terrier, Mary Off Bartender, who's a bartender. We miss you. And the service, the housekeeping staff, maybe I think some of them, yeah, Joyce Blake, Eduardo Suarez, and Judy Oriente. Thank you so much. So I just want to say on behalf of everyone here, and oh, would I miss Emily? Where's Emily Mogler? Come on over. Did I miss someone else? So I just want to say on behalf of everyone, thank you so much. It is very difficult to adapt this college to the new realities. We couldn't be here without all of them. We couldn't have opened without the creativity, the open-mindedness, and the hard work of the staff. Merci, miigwech. Thank you so much. So now let's get to the introduction of the members of their community. So you should know that every member of the Massey community is eventually introduced formally at one of our celebration dinner or high table. It's a way for us to highlight their accomplishments and to have the community cheer them on a bit. So I thought we should start today. So let me start with Zoe Sebastian, who's joining us virtually, I think. Zoe is a fourth-year junior fellow and a JD candidate at the Faculty of Law. She completed her honors Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy at U of T with the Governor General Silver Medal. She then completed a Master of Arts in Philosophy and worked on transgender rights. Zoe was one of the students chosen to clerk at the Superior Court after her first year of law school and now works at Osler, Hoskin, and Harcourt. And she Justice, and the keynote will be given by Fernand de Varenne, who is the United Nations Special Rapporteur on minority issues. So thank you very much for Zoe. Cam Calindo! Cam is a first-year Master of Public Policy student at the Monk School and a first-year resident junior fellow at Massey College. He came to Canada as a refugee from Colombia at the age of 7, graduated from McMaster University in 2017 with an honor BA in political science and minor in economics. In 2018, he ran and got elected as a trustee on the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board. Good for you. And he's currently the chair of the policy committee, which has a budget of about $726 million. That's more than Massey College, by the way. Yeah. And he's also an avid volunteer, a traveler, and he has a passion for storytelling, community organizing, and currently is exploring yoga. Welcome. Sadia Mahmood. Sadia is a first-year resident junior fellow at Massey College and a PhD student at the Women and Gender Studies Institute, where she's researching women in diplomacy and diplomatic theory. She herself worked for the Canadian Foreign Service and was posted in Jamaica and Ghana. And she has had several temporary positions around the world. She holds a Master of Public Health, which was focused on global health promotion, which helped her a lot in her work on humanitarian and refugee-related aspects. In her free time, Sadia enjoys cycling, and she's keeping up with her yoga teacher training. There's already a connection. Okay, welcome. Karza Mirdagan. Karza is a first-year, first-year non-resident junior and third-year computer science PhD student at University of Toronto. His research focuses primarily on the intersection of artificial intelligence, AI, and computer graphics. He's interested in developing machine learning algorithms to capture 3D geometry and the appearance of the physical world for applications for autonomous driving and virtual reality. That sounds so much fun, you know. And previously had several positions with Microsoft Research Seattle, Disney Research Zurich, and Huawei Research in Toronto. He's also an elected student representative as a graduate member of the Faculty of Arts and Science Council for the upcoming year. Welcome. Ting Yan. Ting is a second-year MD, Master of Science student at U of T and a first-year non-resident junior fellow at Massey College. She holds back in health sciences honors from the University of Calgary. She's interested in working at the intersection of health policy and innovation. She currently serves on the board of trustees at CAMH and as a co-director of SeroTracker, a COVID-19 antibody surveillance dashboard. She's worked previously for McKinsey & Company in global health with Healthy Child Uganda and in neuroscience research at the Alberta Children's Hospital. In her spare time, she enjoys nature photography, running a cooking blog. That sounded so exciting. And which is suture chefs and watercolor painting. Welcome. Now, let me introduce some of the new members of the community as well. Rosemary McCartney is the inaugural Pearson Sabia Distinguished Visitor in International Relations at Trinity College. She stays here, she lives here, so you probably have seen her at breakfast. She's an early riser for breakfast, I know that. And she is the incoming 2020-2021 Bill Graham Center Massey College resident visiting scholar in foreign and defense policy. She was Canada's ambassador to the United Nations and the Conference on Disarmament until the fall of 2019. Her career has spanned every sector of the economy, law, development, multilateral diplomacy in over 100 countries. And she's teaching a course about that, and she's a real presence at Massey, all sorts of ideas, so look her up. She's sorry she couldn't be here that very minute. I also want to welcome Sabrina Dellen. Sabrina! Sabrina is a leading public sector strategist. She is a contributor to Democracy Exchange, Canada's annual democracy summit since 2017, and has served as senior program advisor for open democracy projects since 2019. She is the inaugural SFU Morris J. Wass Center for Dialogue Open Democracy Fellow, a role that is co-created with the Open Democracy Project in partnership with Massey College. So I'm very happy that we were able to develop this partnership and have Sabrina join us. She has an office here, and she will continue to work on issues of justice, issues of democracy. Her background is in sociology. She has an MA of sociology from Dalhousie, and she worked really on access to justice projects. Thank you. Welcome. Carmela Mudaka is an associate professor in Department of Sociology at York University and is appointed to graduate programs in sociology, sociolegal studies, and social and political thought. Her research is on racialization, criminalization, social histories of racial and colonial violence. Her research has been supported by SHRC, by the Canada Federation of Humanities and Social Science, and the Law Commission of Canada, which I knew well. So it's so nice to have you. She's a new visiting scholar from York. Thank you. Welcome. Now we have, sorry. Catherine Underwood is a professor in the School of Early Childhood Studies at Ryerson University. Through critical disability theory, Dr. Underwood is interested in how society responds to and constructs childhood in social institutions. Her research asks questions about care, social constructs, and institutions, with a growing emphasis on the unnatural divide between public and private relationships. Dr. Underwood's work has interrogated equity and disability issues in early childhood studies, faculty-school relationships, special ed, inclusive of early childhood education. So nice to have you here. I mean, it's so wonderful to be reading your bio and just think of how Kirsten Karza would be so happy that you're here. Thank you. Now, let me welcome now the journalism fellows that we have here. Let's start with is Leslie? Yeah. Yeah, it's different. I recognize your hair. So Leslie Young is an Emmy Award-winning journalist who has spent most of her life writing online. Her work has tackled many topics: refugees, immigration, the environment, public infrastructure, politics, rats, weird noises, and most recently, science and health as a health specialist for Global News. Her reporting has taken her to Germany, India, Jordan, where she taught data journalism with Journalists for Human Rights. I think we are so grateful to have a health expert this year. We did not know when we recruited you how crucial your expertise was going to be to us. Welcome to Massey. Award-winning journalist Duncan McHugh is the host of CBC Radio 1's Cross Country Checkup and correspondent for the National on CBC TV, based in Toronto. McHugh also teaches journalism at the UBC Graduate School of Journalism and Ryerson University, and was recognized by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association with an Innovation Award for developing curriculum on Indigenous issues. He was awarded a Knight's Fellowship at Stanford University in 2011, where he created an online guide for journalists called Reporting in Indigenous Community. McHugh is Anishinaabe, a member of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation in Southern Ontario, and he's the father of 2 children. And we're so delighted to have you. Welcome to Massey. Keith Guerin is an Alberta-based journalist who has covered a wide range of stories about life and politics in Canada's most enigmatic province, Alberta, over the last 2 decades. I come from Quebec, so we can debate. His current assignment is as a politics columnist for the Edmonton Journal, but he's also known for his past reporting on healthcare, post-secondary education, and municipal affairs. In 2011, he was sent on assignment to Afghanistan as an embedded journalist with the Canadian Forces. His career includes a CAJ Award nomination for investigation into crumbling hospital infrastructure, in-depth stories of the Fort McMurray wildfire in 2016, and coverage of 2 Alberta elections. Welcome to Massey. Welcome to all. Massey College is a place for connection and intersections between ideas and people. It nourishes learning and is committed to the public good. To do so, it is a place that supports young scholars by providing them with skills, experiences, mentorship, so that they empower them to be the leaders that they in their field and in the world. It aims to provide all junior fellows with the skill to exercise an intellectual and action-oriented leadership, to have impact in the world. They will lead communities, cities, countries, universities in an ethical, inclusive, and purposeful way. We aim to create here a community of intergenerational exchanges, informed conversation, interdisciplinary dialogues, inclusive and meaningful discussions and action. I am committed to ensuring that Massey does its part to disseminate knowledge, and that the model of the Massey lecture that was created continues to animate our work. The entire Massey community must be present to the world, must recognize its privileges and responsibilities. Dare to know, dare to be wise is the motto. The courage to see and the resolve to act. Throughout the year, we will have special lectures, book launches, Massey dialogues, the Massey lecture this year, which is on digital world and AI. We'll have special weeks of education on Indigenous issues with the Mississaugas, on anti-Black racism, disability issues, mental health, climate change, and human rights. We will educate ourselves and continue to celebrate the accomplishment of this community. Stay tuned and stay engaged. It demands more efforts with COVID. We know that. But I think we really want to continue to maintain this community, because it must continue to do its work in these times. The last part of this ceremony is a virtual tour of Massey for people who cannot come today and have not been, and we had great fun to do it. So I can't wait to see the tour of today. And again, thank you to the architects of today, all the staff that worked so hard, and particularly I think to Matt, who's been working so hard to get this together, dealing with our technology, and thank you also to Abra and to his team that is here. Thank you. So let's watch them. Welcome to Massey College. I'm Nathalie Desrosiers, and I'm the principal of Massey College. And it's a great pleasure to introduce you to this virtual tour. This is not the architectural tour of Massey College. You should take the architectural tour of Massey College when we are able to offer them. Today, what I'm going to do is simply give you a bit of a glimpse of what Massey College has to offer. Massey College was a gift from the Massey Foundation to University of Toronto to create a place to nurture learning and serve the public good. It was built by Lanton, a famous architect, in 1963. In 1989, in recognition of its architectural significance, Massey College was designated under the Ontario Heritage Act. It is therefore a protected building. Let's go in. This is the quadrangle. This is the main yard of the college, and it's beautiful in all seasons. In the spring, you have the blooms, pink, and then the summer, you have the greenery. The fall is beautiful colors, and it's actually quite intriguing and magical during the winter as well. The residence rooms are located on the outside of the yard, and on this side, we have all the public spaces. My lodge, my office, the Robinson Davies Library, the upper library, and the dining hall. They're all connected by a tunnel under the college. This is the junior common room. It belongs to the community. Everyone's welcome here to come and read, meditate, have a small conversation with friends with distance. All the furniture has been designed by Ron Tom. And the main feature is certainly the fireplace, which is wonderful during the winter. This is the upper library, a place where people congregate as well. You can come and read here, but you can also come with many of our receptions that are held here. The main feature of the upper library is the wisdom window. This window was designed by glass artist Sarah Hall, and it represents the light that we all seek for in our achieving wisdom, the light that disperses ignorance, the light that allows us to see better around us. And it was done in celebration of two fabulous women of the Massey community, Ursula Franklin and Rosie Wolf. Ursula Franklin won the Pearson Medal for Peace for her activism on peace and human rights. She was a professor of physics at U of T, and she was a longtime mentor at Massey College. Rose Wolf was the U of T chancellor. She was also a big advocate for civil liberties, and she was the visitor at Massey College. So we are always admire this wisdom window that inspires us all. This is Ondaatje Hall, is the main dining hall of Massey College. It's a beautiful room, a room that is one of the most beautiful public rooms that represent Canadian architecture of the 20th century. We don't do it justice now with all the plexiglass that reflects our COVID commitments, but you should know that all the furniture has been designed by Ron Tom himself. It is a place for dining and rejoicing for all of us. I want to draw your attention to the "happiness is impossible" quotation from philosopher George Santayana. Happiness is impossible and even inconceivable to a mind without scope and without pause, a mind driven by craving pleasure or fear. To be happy, you must be reasonable, or you must be tamed. You must have taken the measure of your powers, tasted the fruits of your passion, and learned your place in the world and what things in it can really serve you. To be happy, you must be wise. This is the lower library, the Robertson Davies Library. It's named after the first head of college, Robertson Davies, the author. The library is there for you to use and to study, and it's a quiet space. What is most famous feature of this library are the 19th century printing presses. So this collection is being used by the book history program at U of T. The library also has a large collection of art and manuscripts from the 19th century book history. So it's a place for all of us to enjoy. This is the round room. It's a pretty intimidating room for me. It's a room where the governing board meets and where they can ask accounts and questions from the principal. It's also a room where junior fellows can have their PhD defense thesis. And sometimes they decide to take this room so that they can have a little bit the inside advantage and be at Massey while defending their thesis. Welcome to the chapel. This chapel was imagined by Vincent Massey to be a place for people of goodwill of all faiths. It was designed by Tanya Mozerevich, who was the founder, one of the founders of the Stratford Festival and the designer of the Stratford Festival Theatre. In June 2017, on National Aboriginal Day, the chapel was named St. Catherine's Chapel. and was designated a Chapelle Royale in recognition of the special relationships between the Crown and the Indigenous people of Canada, namely here the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Within the chapel, there are 2 glass mosaic windows by artist Sarah Hall, which are based on the silver covenant chain and on the Anishinaabe symbol of the Council of 3 Fires. Outside the chapel, in the upper foyer, there's a mural that is entitled The Treaty of Niagara by Indigenous artist Philippe Côté, which provides a visual introduction to the story of the proclamation and the treaty. It illustrates the negotiation process and the nature of Indigenous treaties that go on living forever and are constantly changing. The mural tells the story of Indigenous treaties from an Indigenous voice. This is the visitor's room. It's named after Massey College's first visitor, Vincent Massey. Vincent Massey was the first Canadian-born Governor General of Canada. And what we have here is his old phone from Rideau Hall. He was also Canada's High Commissioner to the UK. And here we have the diplomatic pouch that he used when he was High Commissioner. So this room is really like a museum that we have at Massey College. All through, you can see different objects that he gathered throughout his trips in Canada. It's quite an interesting place. So thank you to the team for having done this. I think we're going to try to, and I just want to welcome you all again. Thank you very much for being part of this opening ceremony, and we look forward to having many more. Thank you. À la prochaine.